Hello, Ethan. This is a review of your chanter lesson from October 13th, 2023. We'll get right into it. We're going to start with the scale, starting on low G. Let's get a sound check. Make sure everything's good and comfortable. All right, here we go. 1, 2. When you play the scale, I want you to be very careful about making sure that when you come back down the scale, right, and you're on C, there's C, that when you go to B, you lift those both fingers up on the bottom. Sometimes before, when you were on C, you just went like that. We don't want that. We want, okay, so check that. Let's do it again. Regular scale. Ready? 1, 2. Another thing you need to be listening for when you do the scale is the transition from D to E, right? This transition. At the lesson, you had some crossing sounds when you went from D to E. Crossing sounds are unintended sounds in between two notes when you're transitioning from one note to another. And what happens in slow motion when we do a crossing sound, which you don't want, from D to E, is you accidentally close all these D fingers down before you lift the E finger. And it sounds like this. We don't want this. Right? We don't want that. We don't want that little low G in there in between. We just want to go straight from D to E. So I want you to pause the video and play back your scale and pay attention for that. Okay? All right. Very good. Now we're going to move on to the G-gracenote scale, the full G-gracenote scale. So this is the first time you've done this entire scale, and we're going to go ahead and get right into it. You'll notice that on the sheet music, the first sound that the listener should hear, or that you should play, is what? What finger is that? High G finger is up. It's a high G, because the first note in this scale is a high G grace note, landing on low G. Like that. Okay, so let's get ready. Here's how it's going to go. Okay, so what I just played there was the full scale. It might be a bit soon for you to do that on your own. So we are going to break things down here for you so that you can see exactly what's happening for each one of these grace notes on a scale note. As you can see in the music, the first one is a high G grace note on low G. And so the finger position for that to start is the high G fingers in the air and all the other fingers are closed. And you blow, and then the chanter, and then you drop that finger, and that makes the grace note, like this. I didn't have my fingers perfectly on the holes there, did I? Right? Let's do it again. I want you to practice that on your own for a little bit. Pause the video, and when you're doing it, I want you to think G grace note, low G. G grace note, low G. Like that. Okay, you've done the first grace note in the scale. You've done G grace note to low G, and next we're going to do a high G grace note up to low A from the note you were just on, low G. So here's low G. You lift up both the pinky finger on the bottom and the G grace note finger on top, and the listener will hear a G, because the highest finger that's off the hole is the sound you'll hear. And then drop the finger, so it goes like that. From low G. noticed I sped up just a little bit there with those. And I want you to do that. Eventually, you're going to do it fast. You're going to go. So pause the video and try that on your own. The playing low G, G grace note up to low A. Okay, the next transition in the scale is from low A to B with a grace note, G grace note. So you go like this in slow motion, playing a low A. So what I did was I lifted, from low A, I lifted the B finger and the high G finger. Again, the listener hears the note that's the highest finger off. That's the high G finger. And then we drop the G finger and we land on B. Again, let's do those. From low A to B with the G grace note. Alright, if you can do that transition nice and fast, that's great. If not, pause the video and practice it. Okay, here we are on B. We're going to go up to C. From the B, we're going to lift up the high G finger and get the bottom hand fingers in the C position, and then drop the G grace note finger. It goes like this. Okay, now we're on C. We're going to play C, and we're going to lift up the D finger and the high G finger, right? Because this gets in the D position down here, and then drop that high G finger down to make the grace note. It goes like this. When you play these, you need to listen for clear playing, clarity, okay? When we're going from C to D like this, we want to make sure that we don't go, which is accidentally going to the D before we lift the G grace note finger. We don't want that. We don't want, we want, the G grace note finger comes off maybe just a little bit before the D finger does, right? Let's try that a couple times more. From C to D. Put your fingers in the C position. Did you notice how I sped it up towards the end there? We don't need to make our high G grace note finger huge. I am just doing it right now so that you can see what's going on. But you can play it like this. Little blip sound, right? Okay, very good. Here we are on D, and we need to go up to E. That's the next melody note, but we need to do it with a G grace note, right? So here we are in the E position. We lift the high G finger and the E finger, right? Because we're going to be going to the E. So do that. And then we're going to drop the high G finger and bring these bottom fingers down at the same time. It's a lot going on there, isn't it? D, okay, high G finger and E finger come off, right? Drop the G finger and the bottom hand fingers at the same time. Let's try it. You might need to pause the video and just try that on your own. When you're ready, here we go. D to E with the G grace note. It's not likely you're going to play it that quickly right now, okay? So again, remember what's happening in slow motion. You're in the D position, you lift both these fingers off, drop the grace note finger and the bottom hand fingers. One thing that you can do to get used to this is keep your fingers in the D position, just like mine, and just lift these two fingers up, the pointer finger and the ring finger, right? That's like the first half of the grace note, right? Okay, what we don't want is, we don't want to lift the E finger first and then the G finger, because then it makes an accidental E. We don't want that. We don't want, we want. So try that on your own to get that clear sound if you need to practice that part. And then once you're up there, you just drop the fingers, right, into place. All right, take some time on that one.